Jam. Toon Jam.
Hello and welcome to Toon Jam. I am Matt.
And I'm J-Man.
And today we are talking about the adventures of T-Rex. Those avid fans of Toon Jam will remember that this was, the theme tune was part of an early competition we ran. In which you had to guess the theme tune, and it was part of the Adventures of T-Rex. So let me tell you a bit about it. It's an animated TV series, obviously, that aired in syndication from 1992 to 1993 in North America. The show features 5 musical Tyrannosaurus brothers who played to sold-out crowds as a vaudeville group for the Dragon Company. The company was owned by the beautiful and wealthy Myrna, which is, I think, a strange description that someone wrote beautiful, but there you go. She's a dinosaur. The band members were also secretly fighting crime as T-Rex, masterminded by Professor Edison. The show, an American-Japanese co-production between C&D, Gunther Wall Productions, and well-known anime producer Kitty Film, lasted only 1 season. There were 52 episodes, and they ran for roughly 30 minutes. So, The Adventures of T-Rex, had you seen this before?
I don't know if I had. I feel like I'd seen bits of it, or maybe seen the costumes or something before. But yeah. I mean, it would have been a long time ago if I would have done. What about you? I'm sure that you remembered it from back in the day. Sure.
Yeah, this to me was one of them. We all have a series that we remember and no one else in the world does.
Yeah.
This was mine. I remembered seeing it as a kid, and being fascinated by the look of it. There's 5 dinosaurs. I remembered it being 12 for some reason. I don't know why. I remember thinking that's a lot, but I think it's just because it's one more than the Ninja Turtles.
Yeah.
So it must have been loads. But yeah, I remember seeing it, but I don't. All I remember is what it that they were like T-Rexes in different coloured costumes. And that was enough for me.
Yeah.
That was then, the greatest thing ever that I never got to see. So, yeah. That's pretty much all I know about it. I don't remember it at all. I don't remember the sort of, I want to say the sort of 1930s gangster aspect, 1920s, 1930s gangster aspect of this show. Because it doesn't really fit in with them and their cyber suits.
Not at all, no.
But there you go. So yeah, I did remember it, but it was like watching it fresh. Interestingly, one of the co-creators, Lee Gunther, also worked on Mummies Alive.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Ronin Warriors. I don't know if you've ever seen Ronin Warriors.
No.
I've not seen that one. Angry Beavers.
Nice.
Wild West Cowboys of Moo Mesa.
Don't know that one.
That's another one. And what was the other one? Lost in the Ether. G.I. Joe, Transformers.
Oh.
And Spider-Man.
All right.
He became one of the co-founders of Marvel Productions Limited.
All right.
I think that was for the animated series, in the 90s. 80s and 90s. So there you go. Pretty illustrious career.
Yeah.
And this is, I think, where he might have started with T-Rex. Actually, no, that's not true at all. But,
somewhere along the way.
One
rung on the ladder.
It's earlier in his. When you look at the other stuff, that's later, isn't it? So Transformers obviously isn't. So what do I know? I just do a podcast about these things. and pretend I know things.
It's true.
I'm letting you all down. I'm so sorry. So let's dig in. The Adventures of T-Rex. Yeah, a strange combination of genres.
Yeah. I really wasn't expected to go so old so quick.
Yeah, like American gangster film, but like more like The Untouchables meets Ninja Turtles meets Power Rangers.
Yeah, because I mean, like from the intro, I was like, oh, those suits, they look pretty cool. Like I do like the way their sort of mech suits look. They've got a really sort of like sleek look about them. I think just because of the way the head kind of goes, it's got like an almost alien style shape to it. And yeah, they look pretty futuristic, for a 90s cartoon or whatever. But then they're in them for a very short time.
Yeah, it's really weird, the whole suit aspect of it is really strange.
Because as far as I can tell as well, like they don't actually do anything, the suits. Like, do they have? They don't seem to gain any abilities from putting the suits on.
But it's not really explained, is it?
No.
At least in the episode we watched. So, which, I think it might be the case that they have, extra strength or something.
Right.
But yeah, it seems like. Here we go. Let me read out the plot, and then we can get more of an idea ourselves. So, set in a world of anthropomorphic dinosaurs, brothers Bernie, and it says the colours after them because they're all different. They all wear different colours. So Bernie is in blue, Bruno in pink, Bubba in green, Buck in yellow, and Bugsy in purple. Were born with special powers to help them fight crime.
Oh.
Each brother's special power was related to a specific part of their anatomy. So Bernie's legs, Bruno's arms, Bubba's tail, Buck's mouth and teeth, and Bugsy's telekinetic eyes. Naturally. In the day, they make up a singing group that perform at the Dragon Company in Rep City. The group rode out on their Rexmobile to battle Big Boss Graves, crime kingpin of Rep City, and his evil organization, the Corporation, which also consists of Little Boss, Adder, Madder, Shooter, Axe, and the Doctor. Kid Sister Ginger was part of a singing group, which we saw in this episode, but didn't know about the brothers' secret identities. Yes, they are secret identities. One of the show's other noteworthy elements was giving the T-Rexes imitation celebrity voices. These voices were Jack Benny, Art Carney, Bing Crosby, Humphrey Bogart, and Jimmy Durant. So there you go. There's your backstory. Now we know. We didn't get this from the episode that we watched.
No, not at all. I didn't. There was no I mean, we have there's like a whole sequence of them suiting up, isn't there, where they go into a room, sit around in a circle, and then they sort of get pulled into some sort of hidden floor thing, and they suck down while the suit's attached to them, and then they get in the van and leave turtle style out of a hatch in the street.
Yeah. And I think usually, it would be forgivable if you didn't get the entire backstory in an episode. But it should be noted that we did watch the first episode.
Yeah. So we have no clue what's going on. So this is the point where you'd be like, here's how this works, by the way.
Yeah.
So so you think we get everyone does a thing for themselves, and you see Power Rangers do Tyrannosaurus, and then you see the T-Rex.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, okay, that's his thing, right? You don't really get that in this. It's just they all just put suits on that are basically the same suit with a slight different color, and then they just go out in a van for some reason.
Yeah, the storyline for the episode was really like not hard to follow, but loose.
Yeah.
Just felt like what is going on here? Like, what's the point in all this? Didn't really get what they would. They're supposed. I think they're crime fighters, but
it was such low level crime.
Yeah, and it seemed like the only things that were going on in this city were these two clubs.
Yeah.
Like anything outside of them two clubs didn't exist.
No, it didn't matter.
And they're superheroes, and all they were doing was protecting one club that they worked for. Well, I suppose this was the height of capitalism.
Yeah, I know. It just seemed like that was all that mattered. It was like how big the clubs were, how many people the clubs were getting in,
How well it did.
Yeah, and it just didn't really. It seems very strange to then have these like super powered T-Rexes to just come in and then just like rough up a few guys every now and then, just so that like they could sell more cokes or whatever. It seemed unnecessary.
Yeah, I did like that they were trying to make it as kid friendly as possible. In the way that they all had Dino Cola.
Yeah.
Instead of alcoholic beverages.
Alcohol, yeah.
And they never said the word kill. They instead said chill.
Yeah.
And then really, like, if they had said it once, you might have just been like, whatever. But they really hammered it in every time, like, just so you know, we're not saying kill. It was like, oh yeah, chill him.
Didn't he have like a freeze rate
did you
as
say
well?
chill him? Chill him? Did you say chill him, boss? Yeah, chill him, freeze him. Absolute zero, that guy. But yeah.
They really did hammer it in. Did he have like a freeze rate at some point as well?
Yeah, they had like Mr. Freeze guns.
Yeah.
So they didn't have bullets in the guns.
No. So I mean, maybe this is some good source material for Joel Schumacher.
Yeah, because there was a lot of puns in it as well.
Yeah.
This was prime. If you like watching Batman and Robin just for Mr. Freeze puns, you're going to enjoy this.
You're going to love T-Rex.
It's pretty close.
Yeah.
Only with with just as many hilarious voices in. Actually, going back to Batman and Robin, Uma Thurman's voice in that is like some sort of gangster dame.
Yeah.
Maybe there was some sort of inspiration here.
Yeah, it could be.
Imagine that. If Joel Schumacher comes out and says, yeah, my actual inspiration for Batman and Robin was The Adventures of T-Rex.
Yeah.
Specifically, the first episode.
Is there a moment where somebody's singing in it? Isn't there like a scene in a club where someone's singing, maybe?
I feel like there is, because isn't like Bruce Wayne in a club at one point?
I thought that was, yeah.
And there's some gag with a credit card.
Yeah. Maybe that's where maybe they modelled the club from the dragon.
This is it. We've just discovered.
Yeah. And it isn't like Bane's, aren't they putting like venom in something and like doing some sort of delivery con where they're like putting venom in stuff? Like, isn't that kind of part of the plot that they're poisoning something in some sort of scheme? That's, there's delivery.
It's too close
as well.
It's too close to be anything but a direct rip-off of the Adventures.
We found it. We've outed it. Here it is.
When he's like, hey, Papa, time to get Batman.
But yeah, imagine if like, you were watching an episode of your favorite superhero, but like their only purpose was to like make sure that the footfall at the local club was good. Like that's the only time they stepped in.
That's basically what this is.
Yeah. They're like enforcers. Really... They're like bouncers for the club more than anything. Like
what's weird is like how much of the show was actually them, like, well, first of all, was actually them, and second of all, them as, you know, T-Rex, the team.
Yeah, very little.
It seemed to be the boss, the big boss, the villain guy was in it a lot.
Yeah.
Their sister, Ginger,
Yeah.
who's a terrible singer, was in it a lot.
Yeah, and is like an annoying character overall. That's kind of her purpose.
Yeah. It was just a really weird, like, so the storyline starts off, they're basically, the baddie club is trying to steal all the supplies from the goodie club. And then halfway through, there's this whole weird side plot with their sister Ginger being a terrible singer. The baddie club, like, goes in, and when they say, yeah, she won't be on for another month, everyone cheers because they're happy. The baddie club puts in just a bit too late saying, yeah, she's really good. They put her on, and then there's this whole weird storyline with that where everyone then goes to their club while she's on because they run out of cola at the other club. And then after that, they're there and they think she's doing really well, and then it just sort of ends.
Yeah.
I don't really know what the resolution is. Well, I think the resolution is T-Rex come in and beat up Big Boss for no actual reason.
Yeah.
Like, this is the one time in the episode he's not done anything bad. And then everyone just leaves, and that resolves it.
It's so perplexing, like the story.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like if I was a kid watching this, I wouldn't know what was going on. Like, it didn't really make any sense.
Because as an adult, I don't know what's going on.
No, exactly. It's like, why did this happen and lead to this? It was so weird. And there was a whole thing of where they were extorting a delivery driver, and then, like, the next scene with him in, he was just like, he wasn't afraid of him, so he was just like, well, I'm just going to still keep delivering to the other place, and then it just happens all over again. Like, why do we need to see this twice? It wasn't good the first time.
The interesting thing about it is that it's an American-Japanese co-production, and you can kind of tell.
Yeah.
And you constantly try, like, I didn't know this before I watched it, so I was constantly trying to figure out whether or not it was a Japanese show, a la Samurai Pizza Cats, or an American show that just happened to be a bit like Samurai Pizza Cats. I couldn't quite figure it out because it doesn't look, it doesn't really look like a Japanese show. It looks like an American show.
Yeah.
But it has some sort of, I can't figure out why. You can tell it's also a Japanese show.
Yeah, there's something about it, isn't there?
Yeah. It's just, I think it's that similarity, that thing in Samurai Pizza Cats. It's probably their suits, isn't it?
Yeah, it might be.
Because it doesn't fit in with the rest of the...
with anything else going on. There's like no
gel at all.
No, there's just no purpose to it. It's really strange because, like, when you see those intro bits, like in the opening titles, you're like, oh, this could get like really, really cool and like futuristic. But then, like, those bits when they're getting the suits on are like about as far as it gets, and then the rest of the show is nothing like that. It's almost like there's two shows going on.
That is exactly it. You've got them as two sets of characters. So there's them in their, like, you know, shades and suits, trophies and whatnot. And then there's them in these super suits. And, like, the super suits is obviously, you know, it's all the intro. It's kind of why you're watching it.
Yeah.
But it doesn't really play a big part in the show, and they've just not melded it in at all. No. And it kind of, you kind of think, like, why bother having them? But then you also, on the other hand, think, actually, that's the best thing about it, though. Yeah. So...
Because I definitely didn't go in to see, like, the inner workings of, like, you know, two clubs and how they get their what route their driver goes on to deliver their cola.
Also, it's the thing, like, if that's going to be your story, forget the suits and the
it didn't need it, did it, at all?
Just have them as a group of, like, you know, gangstery style guys.
Yeah.
But it was obviously they were inundated with make it kid friendly.
Yeah, and make it turtles as well, which is clearly what it was trying to do.
Yeah, because it was obviously. I mean, it's what was it, Rep City?
Yeah.
But it was very New York, which is the 90s, you know, as we've discussed many a time.
Many times.
You're in New York. No matter where you are, you're in New York.
Yeah.
And
it's
as far as good things about the show, the character designs.
Yeah.
In general, like not just the main guys and their super suits and whatnot, but and maybe not all of them, but a lot of them, I did think they had an original and cool look. And as a kid, I would have loved the toys.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's what I liked about it as a kid, just literally what I saw. So I don't remember anything else other than the visual appeal.
Yeah. Some of the villains look pretty cool as well, and like even the big boss and the little boss, they even looked kind of cool.
I think they are very Japanese.
Yeah, they are, aren't they? Because they're
they are what gave it the Japanese. Them and the super suits.
Yeah, they've got like the sort of dragon ears, and then like they're in like business attire.
Yeah, and like they've got giant heads.
Yeah,
and
super big heads. Yeah.
It just, there's something that there's clearly a Japanese influence on them, which is now obviously true. Yeah,
that was good. I also really liked how like in the moment where they're about to do their like all in thing, they're like, what is it, like the rhyme that they do, like like T-Rex is our name, and then instead of doing a rhyme, they just keep coming up with like other things, like other positive things, like they play away with the whole like catchphrase thing. It's like, instead of being like fighting crime's our game, it's like fighting crime is good for the townspeople or whatever, and they just like completely dismiss it on like a couple occasions. And I was like, this is a really stupid gag, but it's pretty funny actually. I did enjoy that.
And I think one of the characters that I thought looked really cool, just to go back to it, sorry, the dinosaur guy, obviously they're all dinosaur guys, the one that ran into the truck with like spikes on his head.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But it was like on the front of his nose and he had like a square head.
Yeah.
He was pretty cool.
Yeah, he was pretty menacing. Yeah.
But then there was also Axe.
Yeah.
And he was terrible.
Yeah, he was lame.
Really, really terrible looking.
I did like the way that the snakes were like sort of coiled out of their suits a little bit. Thought that was quite cool, as opposed to just being generic.
What a weird, like, who would have thought dinosaurs as gangsters?
I know. It doesn't make sense.
It's so strange.
Yeah.
We've had fish police, but that's fine. Do you know what I mean? That didn't feel weird as much as obviously I didn't enjoy it. If you remember and have heard that one.
Yeah.
But it was such a strange combination of things.
And I mean, this episode is a prime example of like they didn't really lean into any of that very hard. Like this was more about like, you know, America's Got Talent than it was anything else. Like the whole gangster side of it was kind of just under the rug somewhere. You know? Like, sure, they stopped like one truck from delivering Coca-Cola, but that was about as devious as they got as schemers and gangsters. Like, it wasn't really, you know, for saying that the whole setting was kind of based around it. They did pretty much nothing with it.
Yeah.
And like, I mean, even with the when they weren't in the T-Rex suits, you know, they look pretty cool, and they're just like shades and oversized suits and stuff. Could have just kept them in that, and then like had them do more stuff in a, you know, 30s kind of atmosphere. But it was just, everything felt like it wasn't meant to be there. So it's just becomes a very confusing show to watch after a while.
Yeah, it is. It is a bizarre layout. Okay, well, we've discussed it. We've got into the nitty-gritties, and we've been confused enough by it. So let's go to our ratings and reviews.
All right, Buzz. Shall we take him out? Yeah. You better get ready, punk. I'm gonna chill ya.
No, you get ready, because it's time for you to chill. Yeah, I say chill. You chill.
No. What? I say that. I'm gonna chill you. I got my freeze gun, and I'm gonna chill you. I'm gonna freeze you, punk.
No, I'm Mr. Freeze. You know, I'm blue. Look at my skin. It's blue. I shoot you with the ray. You turn into ice. You chill. I'm cool.
No,
You chill.
I'm blue too. I freeze. Look, I've got this gun, and I say, I'm gonna chill you. I'm gonna freeze you. I'm gonna put you in the cooler.
No. No, that's me. You once Sub-Zero, now Plain Zero. I'm the Freeze. You chill. I chill you till you chilled.
That's stupid. Why would it be you? I've got a freeze gun. I shoot you when you freeze. Chill. I chill you. I chill you up and chill you down.
I'm Mr. Freeze. How can I freeze? I am Freeze. That's my name. I write it down. Freeze. That's me. Then I shoot you with the ice. You turn into ice, and you chill.
No, don't look at me. Look, I'm a dinosaur.
Yeah, and what killed the dinosaurs? The Ice Age.
Ah!
Here at Toon Jam, we have a 3-point rating system that goes as follows. Thumbs up, you've got the best club in town, bro. Thumbs down, you've just been chilled.
No.
And shaky middle, dinosaurs meets gangsters meets Power Rangers meets a load of nonsense. What's going on?
Not sure about that.
So, thumbs up good, thumbs down bad, shaky middle, shaky middle. Okay, so The Adventures of T-Rex, your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, going in, it's like, oh, those suits, they look pretty cool. They look like they do something, you know, there are dinosaurs everywhere. That's cool. Always enjoyed dinosaurs. I think you just, as a kid, you're kind of obligated to like dinosaurs for whatever reason. So, you know, basic premise is pretty solid. But then, you know, when you actually go in, and it's like, you know, like probably the worst fan fiction of The Great Gatsby that was ever written, then it starts to, you know, unfold into something that's not really that enjoyable, you know, into the club dynamics and the suppliers of where they get their stuff. You know, it becomes like a management situation, and it's not really that interesting. You've got, you know, we saw a lot of their sister who sings horribly and whose audio we had to endure for probably more of the episode than we really should have. That took up way more room than actually the cool dinosaurs in the cool suits. So, you know, that kind of selling us short there, really. And I mean, you know, they've got some good gags in there with the stupid line that they use to power their suits on. But I really wish there was just more of that and like less of the everything else. So yeah, for me, I think it's gonna have to be a thumbs down, because it's very, very old, very nonsensical. Like the plot wasn't there. You know, the good stuff that I went in for just was pretty much non-existent.
Yeah.
You know, other than that gag, the look of it, and you know, the theme tune, that's pretty much all I enjoyed. The 3 things out of 20 odd minutes. So thumbs down.
Thumbs down. Okay, well, I mean, that's fair enough. Yeah, obviously, I went in with not high hopes, but hopes. Because I remember it. I don't remember it at all, but I remembered the image of it fondly, and it was like it was like something I saw once on TV as a kid, and always wanted to watch more of it, but never saw it again.
Yeah.
And so this was my chance, and it kind of falls flat. It doesn't know what it's doing. It just felt, I don't know, weak. It's like they've gone to a lot of effort to create this sort of, you know, not world, but this theme and this style, and then they've meshed in some other stuff which doesn't make sense. Fair enough, you know, it's the 90s, we see a lot of this. Maybe it could still be all right. and it just isn't.
Yeah.
It all misses the mark, and more than anything, like, it doesn't matter, about any of that really, because the episode itself was just dull.
Yeah.
Just boring, and like didn't make any sense. It was sort of, it had no heart to it, and you are just watching something, and maybe this is a sign of the times, but you're watching something that's about two clubs. They're supposed to be like superheroes or something, and who are they saving? The super hot owner of the Dragon Club, apparently, according to Wikipedia. So yeah, it was really disappointing. But it does have that cool character design. And I'm not as upset by the era that it's chosen to sort of emulate. That being said, I don't understand why they did it, but I did think that visually things look cool. So I am going to put myself also at a thumbs down, to be honest, because still it was boring. I wouldn't watch any more of it, and I was just disappointed.
Yeah.
So yeah, 2 thumbs down.
Oh boy.
It has been a while since we've seen a double downer. The last one being during the Christmas foray. So it wasn't even this year.
Oh man.
That's the first double downer of this year.
That was a year. Oh, T-Rex.
We're doing really well. We've got to the end of April, and here we are being disappointed.
I mean, I guess, no surprises after we've discovered that it's the source material for Batman and Robin.
Yeah, I mean, say what you will. It has got that to its name. and to be honest, as much as I didn't like it, I would still rather watch an episode of this than Batman and Robin.
Yeah, that's true.
Because there's no amount of hilarious Mr. Freeze lines that can make the rest of the film enjoyable.
No,
unfortunately.
Really.
Okay, well, what a disappointing note, but that's how it goes. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you did, please feel free to rate and review us. Maybe you shared our opinion. Maybe you think that T-Rex, the Adventures of T-Rex, is actually a belting show, and we need to stop making fun of Batman and Robin. If that's what you think, you can let us know on the 3 big bosses of the internet, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at Toon Jam Pod. Please feel free to comment on our posts or get in touch with us. Tell us what you think, because we do genuinely like to know, because we're not saying we're right. We're just giving our opinion, and we want to know yours as well. So do let us know. If you want some bonus material, you can do so and get some more over at our Patreon for a small fee, and that is patreon.com/ToonJamPod. You can also get some Toon Jam themed merchandise. Oh yes, and that's bit.ly/Toon Jam shop. You can get some cool t-shirts, mugs. Are there mugs on there?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think
mugs. Get yourself a mug. A Toon Jam. Yeah, tea towels. Oh, nice. And of course, a face mask. Much needed. Toon Jam face mask. Yeah, damn straight. So head over there if you want some of that. But otherwise, all that's left to say is thank you again. I hope you enjoyed the show. And until next time, you stay jammy. Yes.
Hey everyone, thank you for listening. If you want to help the show keep going, you can be extra jammy by heading over to our Patreon page at patreon.com/ToonJamPod. Here you can get a shout out on the show or unlock bonus episodes. Ratings and reviews anywhere you listen to the podcast also really help us out. So thank you, and stay jammy.